running just a couple minutes late. So let me get set up here. If you guys want to say hello in the chat room so I can see who's here, that would be great. Hi, everybody. I've been a little sick, so excuse me. Hey, from the UK. Awesome. Glad you could make it. Hi, everyone. So today we're talking about growing your business with social media. And I get tons of questions from people about using social media, and they're usually focused on very specific little tactical things like, should I be using hashtags, or how do I add links, or which social media channels should I be using, and what content should I be sharing? And oftentimes people don't take a step back and create a plan in the beginning so that they know that everything that they're doing is actually going to impact their business. So today, we're not going to go through all of the tactical stuff like how to use Twitter or how to post on Instagram. We're going to talk about how you use social media to actually drive sales in your business, and then how to create a plan to do that for your business. So before we jump in, I'm gonna go. So before we jump in, I want to talk about sales funnels, which are one of my favorite topics and often overlooked. So in offline businesses, you have the chance to see your customers face to face. You can see them walk into your store. You can see what they're wearing. You can see who they are. You can ask where they come from. You can learn what they're looking for, and you can help them find it. In an online business, you cannot do that. You have no idea who is coming to your site. You have no idea where they're coming from, why they're there, how they found you, what they want. And so it becomes really hard to navigate through everyone and find the people who might actually be interested in paying for your work. So a sales funnel is a really great way of thinking about online marketing and figuring out how to take people from just strangers to actually buying something. So there is kind of a process that people go through when they're learning about a business. So the first step is awareness. So it is just knowing that the business exists. So a lot of people, so there are millions of people in the world who have no idea that my business, that Modern Thrive or Make Your Mentors exists. Millions of people. And there are millions of people who know that it exists, but have no idea what it is or who runs it or why it exists. And so the first step is just getting people to know you exist, so that if they hear the name of your business, they're like, oh yeah, I've heard about them. I don't know what they do, but I've heard about them. So getting the name out of your business, having it everywhere that you can. So on different social media outlets, on your website, every time you talk about your business, using your brand name, doing a lot of branding, getting it out there, just making people aware that you exist. The second step someone takes is being interested. So if you see a Facebook page, if you come across a Facebook page and you decide to like that page, you went from aware that the business existed to interested in what the business is doing. And so the first step you're trying to get people from is knowing that your business exists and being interested in learning what your business does, reading your profile, looking at a post you posted, something like that. The next step is actually engagement. So they move from, I know your business exists, I'm interested in knowing what your business does, to I'm actively engaged and interested in being part of what you're doing. So this might be they subscribe to your newsletter, they follow you on social media, they comment on a blog, something where you've said something where they are not just interested and passively looking, but actually engaged in what it is you're doing. Even like they like one of your posts or leave a comment or something simple like that. And then the next step is moving them from engaged to sold. So you can see, so engaged to sold is like, okay, so now they're commenting on your posts. How do you get them to then move and actually make a purchase? And so, hi, oh, awesome. We have people from everywhere today. Hi, everyone. And so when I think about this, I have studied kind of sales funnels for a long time and kind of set it up on my own site. But what I've realized from Modern Thrive is that 4% of the people who visit our website will buy something on the site. So that's a pretty small percentage, but that's normal. So if 100 people come to my website, 4 of them are going to actually purchase something, but 6 of them will probably subscribe to our newsletter, and probably 20 of them will click around on the site and do nothing. And so the number of people who are engaged enough to buy something is quite small, but you're able to engage people at those other levels. So what you have to understand is how you get people to become aware of you, how you move people from being aware that you exist to interested to engaged, and then engaged to sold. Does anyone have any questions about sales funnels before we move on? Hey, Chris. It's nice to see you here. Any questions? I see someone typing. Okay, so the first step you're going to take is identifying your target customer. So if you're a freelancer, who is it that is going to hire you? If you want to license your art, who is it that you're going to be selling to? Who is it that will actually pay you money? So don't think about like who you admire, who you're friends with, like who is it that you're trying to reach to become your customer? And that's the first question you have to ask. So with Modern Thrive, and I'm going to kind of use us as an example so you can kind of see how I apply this. So when I started Modern Thrive, it started as our target market is people who want to work from home. And then it was like, well, mostly it's creative people who want to work from home. And now we have all of these sub-markets where it's people who do pottery, and it's jewelry designers, and it's illustrators, and it's artists, and it's writers. And so we know with the different products we have who the exact person is that we are looking to reach. And so you need to know with your business, it might be that you have one target customer, or it might be, your products kind of appeal to a specific type of person, and get really clear on who that person is that you're trying to reach, and what attributes they have. What do they value? What are they interested in? That kind of thing. And then the next step is choosing the best channels for marketing to them. So if you're an artist, most artists are on Instagram because it's very visual and you can sell a lot of art, and there are a lot of art collectors on there. So that is a great channel if you are selling art to customers to be on Instagram. It's really hard to sell art on Twitter, like trying to sell art in 140 characters. Twitter is not that useful for selling art, but Twitter is useful for finding bloggers, influencers, journalists, art directors, like executives at associations, people who are running contests, that kind of thing. So if you're thinking about what channels to use, you may want to use Instagram to share your art and connect with customers, but use Twitter to connect with potential media coverage or people who might be interested in promoting your work. And so you may have different strategies for different channels, but each channel that you choose, you need to know who you're trying to reach there and what your goal is. So I mostly use Twitter for 2 things. One is to connect with bloggers and influencers within my niche. And then what I found is like they're all on Twitter and they all watch Twitter. And so then they'll retweet my stuff, and like then it'll kind of get into a new audience. So Twitter is great for me when it comes to sharing blog posts and getting traffic to my site in that way. Twitter is not great when it comes to like engaging my community, because most of the people who are part of Maker Mentors or Modern Thrive are not on Twitter. They're on Instagram or Facebook. So understand, where is your target audience, your target customer? How are they engaging in those channels? How are they using it? And how can then you use those channels to engage with them? Does anyone have any questions about choosing what social media channels you should be active on? so I don't know a lot of artists that are on Twitter actively, but so what I found are there are a lot of agents on Twitter, and there are a lot of like illustrators who work with agents, and none of them have a huge following. None of them have a lot of engagement, but you mostly use it for that kind of B2B business. So connecting with potential agents, connecting with art directors, that kind of thing. Most artists that I see on Twitter just link to like their Instagram posts or their blog posts, and kind of it's another place to share their work, but they're not actively trying to engage there. I'm trying to think. I think Natasha Westcoat has a really big Twitter following. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Oh, here, perfect. So Natasha has a really big Twitter following, and she uses it, but she has been on Twitter since it first began, and she has a really big following in general. So I think that just extends to Twitter. I think it's a little bit harder now to build that following. But what's great about Twitter is they have a really good search function. So I can actually go on there and search art director, and anyone that has art director in their profile will show up, and I can follow them, and then they at least have an awareness that I exist because they'll get a notification that that I followed them. So it's a great way to kind of put your foot in the door, and then you can also watch what those people are saying and tweet at them, engage with them that way. But I wouldn't say that you're going to like drive a lot of sales from Twitter. Should we only look for the target audience or also the potential employers on social media? Both. So the potential employers would also be your customers in a sense. If you're a freelancer or if you're looking for a job, it's like whoever's going to pay you is your target customer. So if you're looking for jobs and you're trying to connect with employers, then that is one of your target customers. And so all of the stuff that you're sharing and the things you're doing on social media should, which we'll talk about in a minute, should be targeted towards them. Do you use Snapchat at all? I don't know how. I don't know how to use Snapchat. My kids use Snapchat, and my girlfriend uses Snapchat, and I don't know how to use Snapchat, and everyone thinks that's really funny. But no, I don't think it's useful for marketing because it's Snapchat's mostly for connecting with like your friends in your existing network and not necessarily great for reaching people outside of your network and bring them in. So I would ignore Snapchat. I would say Periscope could maybe be useful. I've seen a lot of artists doing some really interesting things there. Facebook Live, whenever you go live, they do a lot of promotion on that because Facebook's trying to get you to use their live video feature. So that could be another thing. But yeah, that's an example. Like if you don't know how you would use it for your business, like don't use it. It's not going to be useful for you. Oh, good one, Ed. Yes, Jessica Hish is great. And again, it's an example of like Jessica Hish has a huge following on every channel she's on, so she has a big following on Twitter. But I wouldn't put a lot of eggs in the basket of building a huge following on Twitter right now. In the future, maybe. I think where it's at right now is kind of in a weird place. Excuse me. Okay, number 3 is create a compelling profile. So when people are aware of you, if they see that you've followed them or they click on your profile, they instantly want to know, who are you, what do you do, and why do I care? And so you have like 2 seconds to engage them with what you're doing. And so you need to really think about how you're using the space for your bio, what link you're putting in your profile, what information you're sharing, what your profile picture is. Make sure that you use the same profile picture across all your social media accounts so that anytime they see that, they know it's you. Make sure that in your bio, you are clearly saying, you know, what it is you do or what you have to offer or why they should follow you, and put yourselves in their shoes. So think about like, what is it that's interesting to them, and what's going to be engaging to them. So if you look on Maker Mentors, like Instagram page, our bios, like Maker Mentors is an online community for creative business owners. And so our target is anyone that's a creative and a business owner. And the reason that we put that there is because all of those people, they're constantly looking for community and support. And that is like something they are always searching for. And so if they see, oh, I'm a creative business owner and this is a community that I can be a part of, it instantly piques their interest. And then our link goes to the page where they can sign up to our newsletter to join the community. So think about what you're putting in your profile and what message it's sending to the people who come across you on social media. And then the next one here is start building your audience. In the beginning, it can be really frustrating if you're sharing content and you have no followers and no one's engaging and you feel like you're just wasting your time. So I started the Maker Mentors Instagram account like I think a year and a half ago or 2 years ago with 0 followers. And I was like, this is stupid. I'm not posting. This is dumb. And then I was like, okay, I see that all of the makers are on Instagram and they all want to engage here. And I am like, it is ridiculous that I'm not utilizing this better. And so I started coming up with a plan for first building our initial audience so that when we were posting, there was some sort of engagement. So the first things I did was emailed everyone in our newsletter and asked them to follow us on Instagram, asked all my friends and family to follow us on Instagram, shared it on all of my social media pages, added it to our website, just getting some of those initial people in. The second thing I did was I started searching for people that I wanted to engage with our community and engaging with them and following them. So I would search like artists and like I would search in the Instagram search for artists or people who were using artist hashtags. And then I would follow people who would probably be interested in what we were doing. And I'd like some of their photos or I'd leave a comment. And so then a good portion of those people would follow me back. And so I spent like 2 months every night. I would go through and find like 100 new people to follow and like I would be commenting and stuff. And so all of those people started following. And then we had about, I think, 2,000 followers. It was kind of our initial foundational base. And then we started to grow beyond there by using kind of smaller, like easier, more manageable things. So putting hashtags in all of our posts so that they were seen by more people. Every day we feature a different maker on our Instagram account and we tag them. And most of the time those makers will then be like, hey, everybody, I was featured on Maker Mentors, and they'll send their followers over that way. We'll do giveaways and we'll say, who's your favorite artist? Tag them in the comments and you could win a free course. And so people are then tagging other people. And so just doing little things like that have helped us. And now I think we're over 6,000 followers now. And so think about the type of content you can share, who you can start following, what hashtags you can be using. Kind of think about how you can reach your target audience within the social network that you're focused on. And then the next thing is engaging your audience with relevant content. And so once you have people there, starting conversations. So think about what kind of content are they going to be really interested in? And the reason we feature a new maker every day on Instagram is for 2 reasons. One, it gives the people in our community a chance to promote their work. So anyone that's an artist can get their work in front of 6,000 people and it's free. And like, it's just a really exciting thing for each artist when they get featured. And on the other hand, everyone that follows us is a creative and they love looking at what other creatives are doing. So it gives them really interesting content and they get to discover new people, and it gives an opportunity for the people who are in our community to promote the things that they're working on. So thinking about little things like that and how you can use the resources and the things you're doing to create really interesting content. And so that's kind of like in a nutshell, broad strokes, kind of how you can think about creating your social media plan and approaching the different channels so that you're not out there creating a ton of content and putting a lot of stuff out there and getting 0 engagement or 0 interest from people, because it has to be worth your time. All of the, Twitter and Instagram and all of these channels, they are tools that you can use to reach more people and to sell more work. And if you're not selling more work and reaching more people, then it's not a good tool for you, or you're not using it right. And so I think the biggest thing is, if it's not working for you, to step back and figure out why it's not working and what part isn't working, and then rejigger your plan to really focus on who it is you're talking to, what those people are going to be interested in, and how you can kind of move them through the funnel to get them interested in actually buying something from you or hiring you. Okay, so that was those were my 5 steps. So I'm going to stop here, and if you guys have any questions, please type them in the chat room. It can be about specific social networks. It can be about your business. It can be anything you want to ask. We have about 10 minutes here. Oh, great. And Kidlit Art, Ed says there's a chat on, I think it's Twitter, Kidlit Art at 9 Eastern. And yes, look for Twitter chats, can be great for networking and seeing what other artists are doing and where they're engaging, and then kind of following that lead, because I think each social network has different things happening. It's like its own community with its own sort of rules about how things work. And so you have to kind of learn how people are playing in that space and how other people are using the tool, and then how you can best utilize it. Yes, no problem, Michelle. I see a couple people typing. So if you have any questions, don't be shy. Just put them in the chat room there. How you're using your business Facebook page. Yes. Okay, so Facebook is tricky because everyone is very bitter with Facebook, because you grow your audience, and then when you post something, you don't reach the total audience, your total audience. And so people were really mad about that. And so they've kind of like stopped, like they just hate Facebook marketing. But I've just come to terms with the fact that Facebook is kind of a pay for play place, but everyone is on Facebook. Like all of your friends and family, anyone that's going to be interested in your art or your work or what you're doing is on Facebook. So we have our Facebook pages, and then ours are connected to Twitter. So basically for Twitter and Facebook, we try and share really interesting links and resources for creative business owners. So we'll share blog posts, we'll share articles, and then in there we'll share also like our blog posts, our webinars, our courses kind of mixed within there, so that we're able to kind of become a resource that people can go to see what's happening in the space. And we're not just promoting stuff we're doing, but that we're also featuring some of our stuff within there. So that's like how we create our content for Facebook. And then we have monthly ads running. I think we spend like $5 a day on each Facebook page to bring new people in. And so we run an ad to get new Facebook fans, and you can target like illustrators, jewelry designers, artists, freelancers. You can target people based on where they live, based on their interests, and then set a budget, and then you will have more people coming to your page. And really, like, those people they'll see your page and they'll click through, and maybe they'll see something they like and they'll engage with it, and maybe not. But if you think about that funnel, if you pay to get 100 people to your page and 4 of them buy, and it costs you, $50 to get those 100 people there, but you make $100, then like that's a really great system. So you have to think about like how you are getting people to convert to sales, and then where you spend money to grow your audience. And so then we'll run the paid ads to grow our pages, and then we'll run paid ads on our workshop like announcements. Like when we post about a workshop on Facebook, we'll usually put like a $20 ad or something to get some more engagement. But in general, just like sharing stuff on Facebook, you'll get some traffic, you'll get some clicks, you'll get some likes, but it's not going to be a significant traffic driver. What I found is it really is a mix of everything. It's writing a blog post and then sharing it on Twitter a few times throughout the week, and sharing it on Facebook a few times throughout the week, and posting on Instagram once, and including it in your newsletter, and emailing it to a couple of friends. Like, it's seeding the content that you're creating in all of those places that really builds your audience as a total. It's not just focusing on one and then kind of like getting everyone to like you from that place. So figure out how to manage, how to engage them on these different channels, but in a way that's manageable. So we do our posts for Twitter and Facebook. Everything that's shared on Twitter is automatically shared on Facebook. So like once every 2 weeks, I'll grab like 100 links to interesting articles and like things we're doing, and then we'll write posts about them and schedule them out. So it takes us like 3 hours every 2 weeks to get it set up, and then we don't touch it, and we can kind of see traffic and sales kind of coming from that without us having to be on there every single day. Oh, and I would also say I share a lot of things from my brand page onto my Facebook page, because I think it's good to have your brand page just so like at least it's there and people can find you and people can engage with you. But I think that people typically engage more with people on Facebook. So a lot of times people will comment on a post that I write on my own page, even though if I post the same thing on the fan page, it gets 0 comments. So I think that using both of those can be good, and see how people respond when you do stuff, because people will tell you if it's annoying, or if you get a bunch of likes or a bunch of comments, you'll know that it worked really well. And so test stuff out and see, if I share everything on my business page and Twitter and my site at the same time, like, does that change the amount of traffic I get versus if I share it at this other time, or if I, sporadically share it on different networks. So experiment. I run tons of tests to see if I word something this way, do I get more likes? Or if I add an image to my post, do I get more engagement? And just to see, because you're basically trying to figure out, how do I get what I'm doing in front of the people who are going to be really interested in that and want to engage in that. Okay, does anyone have any other questions before we wrap up? Erica, I'm a fly by the seat of my pants kind of girl. So I do it about a week or 2 out, but then I forget to refill them, and I have an intern who helps me manage them, and then she's like, you're out of links and you need to send me more stuff to share. And so there'll be like, if you see 2 days where we share nothing, it's because I'm really bad at planning. So I started a few things. So one is, for our promotional stuff, whenever a blog, we make like rules. So like whenever a blog post goes live, we share it on all of our Facebook and Twitter pages and Instagram. And then that next week, it goes in our weekly bulletin. And so every time we do a blog post, like that's what happens. And then we're going to start also scheduling it so that that blog post is then tweeted 3 times in the next week, so that like different people will see it, and then maybe like twice the following week. And so I'll write 5 updates for that post and schedule them all at once. And the same for the workshops. If we launch a workshop, we'll do like 2 posts about, we have a new workshop, 2 posts about our discounts ending soon, 2 posts about the workshop starting soon. And so we'll draft them all and kind of schedule them out. But if you have like Hootsuite or Buffer or anything like that, then you can just write your posts like as you're kind of creating stuff and schedule them out, so that you don't have to do it like every week or every 2 weeks. But as far as like the newsy kind of other blog posts, I usually every 2 weeks I'll go through and kind of collect those links, and then try and go from there. I'm losing my voice, I see. Okay, does anyone have any other questions? This has been so much fun, and I hope I hope this was helpful and you got something useful out of this to go back and apply to your business, because a lot of times it can be really overwhelming to navigate through all of the advice and figure out what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing and how you should be doing it. And really, it is different for every single business. It is different for every single person. It totally depends on who you're trying to reach, what you want to do with them, and how you want to engage them. So really take a step back and reflect on the goals you have for your business and the people that you're trying to reach and how you want to help them. And it will get you back on track. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. And I'll send around a recording to this and then also the slides if you want to look at it. And I will see you all in our Facebook group afterwards. Thank you.